This podcast is a quest for well-being, a quest for a meaningful life through the exploration of fundamental truth. Enlightening ideas, insights on physical, mental, and spiritual health. The inspiration is love. The aspiration is to awaken new ways of thinking that can lead us to a new way of being well. Welcome to Body, Mind, and Soul Healing Conversations.
In the gentle ebb and flow of life, we often seek to make a difference in the lives of others, hoping to touch them with the spark of our spirit. But sometimes, in the midst of giving, we find ourselves on an unexpected journey of receiving. Over the past month, a beautiful realization has blossomed in my heart. As I've reached out to heal others, I've been healing myself in profound ways. Energy healing, a cornerstone of my life's work, has always been a path of connection for me, connecting to the divine energy of the universe, to the unique vibrancy of each client, and to the deep, often unspoken layers of emotional and spiritual experience. Recently, I've seen an increase in clients seeking solace and healing in the therapies I offer. With each session, as I channel energy and intention towards their healing, I've noticed a mirror-like reflection of healing light that shines back on me. It's a curious and marvelous phenomenon, the healer healing thyself through the act of healing others. This personal evolution has profoundly impacted my closest relationships, particularly with my husband. The more I engage in healing others, the more I find that the heart wall I built around myself is crumbling. Similarly, the connection with my children grows richer each day. As I align more with the universe and the energy flows through me, I notice a beautiful increase in the love and joy we share. Reflecting on this, I'm struck by the profound truth that our capacity to help others heal is intrinsically linked to our own healing. In every moment of connection, we are not just facilitators of healing, we are participants in a grand intertwining dance of rejuvenation. Lucia. Valeria interviews Lucia Nicolini. She is a holistic health practitioner. Lucia's journey in holistic healing began with her foundational training in Reiki and craniosacral therapy. Over the years, she expanded her expertise to include the emotion code, body code, and belief code, mastering the art of releasing trapped emotions, correcting imbalances, and shifting limiting beliefs. Recently, she has embraced the transformative power of hypnosis, creating her signature pleasure-awakening hypnosis sessions, combining hypnosis with gentle hip movements. Inspired by yoga and Reiki energy work, Lucia offers a unique, holistic approach to healing that empowers women to connect with their sensuality, release trauma, and embrace joy and abundance. Meet Lucia at lucianicolini.com and heal.me/Lucia. Here's the interview with Lucia Nicolini.
In your own words, who is Lucia Nicolini?
Okay, so it's an interesting question for sure. So for sure, I'm a mother, and I feel very proud to be a mother. I love to be a mother, so that's for sure something that really describe me the most. And I'm also like a wife. I'm a daughter. I'm a friend. I'm a sister, and I'm also like someone that really stay by your side to support your journey. And that's why I like to call myself no more like a healer, but like a guide, that I'm there supporting you, be holding your hands. And yeah, that's a little bit who I identify myself with.
Yes, it's beautiful though. I love the way you said that too. It's more than a healer. It's a guide, because
Yeah,
ultimately we heal ourselves, right, Lucia? That's really,
totally.
yeah. That's really what comes down to. And we need to be open to be healed. So
Mhm.
another the follow-up question is about how did you get to this beautiful place that you are today? What is the story behind your work and your journey with holistic healing? I would love to hear a bit more about that.
Okay, so that's a very powerful question. Um, so I came from a completely different environment. Like I grew up in Rome, in a city, and I didn't know anything about holistic practice or
Right.
anything about nutrition or anything else.
Right.
So when I came to California in 2012, the first time, and then I moved in 2015. I met my husband, and my husband instead came from a very holistic family. He grew up
Mm,
with holistic medicine.
yeah.
Everything was very holistic for him. So I
Right.
always say that he was my first teacher because
Mm,
he taught me so many things about health and nutrition and healings. And then, of course, I end up like following the right people, I guess.
yes.
So
Yeah.
my husband always say that I'm not very good on
Yeah. Mhm.
listening to to people. So I always
Yeah.
do whatever I trust my intuition is
Yeah.
telling me, and I
Right.
always tell me yes, but I got so far, so it
Mhm.
probably was
Right.
good intuition what I had.
Right.
So I really discovered this also because a really good friend of me gave me an amazing healing session in a moment of my life that I was feeling lost, and she gave me a very amazing Reiki and craniosacral
Mm,
session, and
yeah.
I thought that the angels were talking to me in that moment, and they were telling me,
Right.
"Okay, this is your path." And so from there, again, the universe like make it happen everything in a very easy and smooth way for me. I mean, not always
Yeah.
smooth. Sometimes I have to
Yeah.
like have really difficulties, but
Yeah.
it was beautiful to see all these things coming to me because it were all part of the journey that I needed to walk to get where I
Mm,
am.
right.
Yeah. So I
Yes. That's
had many different teachers, but they all got together to bring me to one amazing healing that I offer to people. I mean, I have different modalities, but I
right.
think they all getting together to one big things to offer to people that's gonna help them for sure.
Right. Yeah, I see that you yeah, how almost like devoted you are to these
Yeah.
specific holistic modalities. Reiki, craniosacral therapy, emotional code, body code, and belief code,
Yeah.
hypnosis, which you have created the pleasure awakening hypnosis, which is
Yeah.
we'll be exploring in a moment too, and then natural birth. Right? I don't have the
Yes.
specific name here. I think it's called. Is that called? Oh, you call the comprehensive healing program Radiant
I call
Feminine
it. I
Code.
call it. I call it birth portal. I mean,
Mm.
blissful birth portal. That's how I
Ah, oh, I
Uh,
love that.
is a way to discover birth through pleasure and not through pain.
Right. Oh, we'll talk about that in a moment
Yeah.
too, Lucia. One moment. So I just wrote it down here. The name I didn't have that here before. Blissful Birth Portal. So yes, one of the things that a lot of people get a bit, let's say, puzzled. It's around holistic healing, holistic health. Is that a lot of times they forget or don't include spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things that I noticed, especially when it comes to health. Of course, those who are already spiritually inclined or religious, they automatically do that. But some people don't. So talk to me for a moment about that. How do you go by kind of helping people who are not really inclined spiritually?
Well, everybody have their own path, and everybody have their own gods.
Right, right.
So I always say to people when they think that they don't believe on things, or they don't have background on spirituality, I always tell them to really connect with their heart, and with their own essence, because that's their God. Because everybody are gods. I mean, when I started to practice Buddhism, it was really about that. We all have inside of us a Buddha. We all are enlightenment. So that's really the most important things. When we going to approach healings, we opening new doors, new portals, new ways to really discover ourselves, and that's our gods, and that's our belief. That's what we're here for, to understand who we are and how we can get in to become enlightened, and to become the people that we want to become. That's why I always say to my clients, make sure that you have a clear vision of who you want to be. How do you see yourself in 10 years, 5 years, in 10 minutes? I don't know. Whatever, like, visualize in that moment who you want to be. And so that's where you have to achieve, or you have to find, and that's your God, and that's your spirituality. Is you don't need to have backgrounds about it.
Yes. I love that, Lucia, what you just mentioned about the heart. And then that I have heard that, of course, something beautiful like God speaks through the heart, one. And then, of course, I'm a student of Vedanta, and Vedanta is a Hindu philosophy based on the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. And basically, we are already what we are looking for. We are already enlightened, as you mentioned too. Now, the work is to find out, why do we keep unenlightening ourselves? Or what's blocking us, right, from that light? Isn't it the work? It feels to me very much like it is true.
Yeah, it is. It is. And, I feel that, like, we all carry our ancestral traumas somehow.
Right.
And so we keep repeating some stuff that sometimes we don't feel that belongs to us, but in reality, it belongs to us. It's just that we don't know where this come from. So we keep, like, just repeating patterns that came from another ancestors. I mean, I'm Italian, and we have a lot of, like, Italian women that it's a culture that is very stuck. We have this strong beliefs that women that don't deserve to be happy, or they don't deserve to get out of the house, because there is a cultural things that, like, women, they're in the house, they don't have careers, they just. And so I carried a lot of that belief. I mean, if I see behind, my grandma was a housewife and my mom was a housewife, I think it was amazing, because I really feel the beauty about coming from women that really dedicate their life to family, but also they have kind of like a shame of want to feel like powerful. They never like trying to really like do too much, because it was not allowed. So that's why I feel that, like, sometimes we carry ancestral trauma, and that's why we get trapped in our unhappiness or heart, like, sticky thoughts. How I talk with my son, I say these are sticky thoughts. And so that's, I think, why we always get trapped in our, like, negative thinking.
Right.
know?
It's so true, though. And a lot of that is somatic,
Yeah.
right, Lucia? It's in our DNA, in our bodies, really.
Yeah, totally.
Um,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah.
Mm.
And that, it's just, I kind of, that's one of my spiritual practices too. Kind of every time I sense that the thoughts are just repeating itself like on a wheel, then I always say the word stop, stop. And then
Oh,
I become more present, because
beautiful. I love
it feels
that.
like that, like a wheel, something that we can, and then sometimes you can't stop it, but it's important to be aware of that pattern. And
Yeah,
that's what
sometimes
I do.
we have emotion that needs to be explored, and we don't want to stop them. And so sometimes it's good to cry. Sometimes it's good to be angry and to feel that and then let it go. And I think when you block, sometimes it gets into your nervous system. So sometimes it's worse. But when you have this
Yeah.
strength to say, okay, stop, and I actually stop, is more powerful. It's a journey to get to be so quick, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yes,
Uh,
Lucia, right. I see more as a song, like as a dance. I'm
yeah,
always like, like
yeah,
dancing with these things. And then becomes more fun too, in some ways.
yeah,
uh,
because the energies that just like running around us and dancing around us, and we have to deal with that no matter what.
right. Yeah. We need to get almost like with the rhythm too, in order to be in
Totally.
harmony. There's something
Thank-
about harmony, right? And healing that they're very much connected.
Oh, yes.
So I want to mention two things three things. One, that your title is holistic health practitioner. So that's, I want to
Hmm.
say that before I
Yeah.
continue. Also, I love your mission. It says, as a holistic health practitioner, I support you in emanating your authentic self, aligning with nature to stimulate your body's natural healing, and co-creating the life you desire. I mean, I
Yeah.
love that. And I love that you mentioned nature. I know we talked off record about this, and
Hmm.
you mentioned the authentic self, which I call the true self, the true nature, which is the same thing, right? We're just using
Yeah.
language. So
Yeah.
nature, I would love for you to talk to me for a moment about this connection between nature and our true self, and our true nature.
Yeah. Okay. For me, that I grew up in the city, when I discovered myself when actually I moved in the country.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, and I also struggle a lot when I go to visit my family, because they live
yeah,
in the city, and there is not a way to ground. There is not a way to
yeah.
breathe good air. So I always think, how did I live most of my life like that? I can't even believe it.
Yes.
It's like, and when
Yeah.
I tell my mom, let's go in the park and take our shoes off and just be with the, and my mother think that I'm crazy. So like,
Right.
just embracing that my family all think that I'm crazy, but in
Yeah.
reality, it there's so disconnecting these days, living in a city where you can't even put your feet on the ground and
Yeah.
really be connected with Mother Earth. And so I feel like for me, that was my awakening, when I realized that the best thing in the morning is not looking at my phone, but going outside with my glass of
Mm,
water, just be with the sun, and really
mm,
embracing that that energy is recharging me, because we are electromagnetic field that needs recharge from the earth, from the sun, from the water, from every element. And it's so important to reconnect with this thing, to find yourself. I think really, like, I feel that my kids are so lucky that they were born in
yeah,
nature. They
yeah.
probably don't appreciate this. And I call my son, I live in Joshua Tree, and we have the best sunset ever seen.
Oh,
And I call him all the time, come here,
wow.
come to see the sunset. It's amazing. And he's like, oh, wherever,
Mm.
tomorrow it's going to happen again. It's like,
Yeah,
I know that you're so spoiled.
yeah,
Because you
yeah,
grew up in the country. But for me,
yeah.
it's like very be connected with divine, with
Mm,
the stars, with everything that you want to call in that moment. It's so
yeah.
powerful, and it's so it come very close to my heart when I see these things around me that I didn't grow
Mm,
up with. So I feel that, like, I feel for my family that they don't see that when I try to
yeah,
explain to them. And
yeah.
and I see the struggle that now I have to make them trying to understand how I feel about nature. And
Right.
for them, I'm a hippie. I'm a hippie
Mm,
crazy girl that moved
mm.
to the United States and just lost her mind.
Right. That's
Mhm.
fascinating. Only by listening to you, even to talk about nature the way you do, it has this very powerful energy, the resonance of it. It's truly
Yeah.
beautiful. So thank you for honoring that, honoring
Oh, thank
yourself
you.
and nature. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I was like almost like, oh, she's going to say something interesting, funny here when you said they think I'm crazy, but in reality, they are crazy. I
Yeah.
thought you would say that, but you didn't. They are
No, I know.
crazy.
I always in private I say this to people, because when I go to Rome, which is a beautiful city, of course
Yeah,
everybody say, "Oh
yeah,
my God, Rome is so beautiful." It is, but where my parents in particular live, and well, most of my friends live, it's traffic all day,
yeah,
smog,
yeah.
cars, like 4 lanes of cars, like just back
Right.
and forth. And they live in this tiny, tiny apartment, all on top of each other. Everybody can hear you, whatever you say. It's like it feels a little overwhelming. My husband always say that when he comes to Italy to visit my parents, he feels like he's trapped in a tower. So
Yes, yes. That's quite accurate, right? That's the
yeah,
description.
totally.
And also the way you speak about noise, yeah, that's one of the things that the mind's very good at it, right? It makes
Yeah.
too much noise, can't stop. Most of us, if we really are paying attention, we see that the mind is always creating its own noise with thoughts, memories, and all that,
Yeah.
judgments.
Even too
So
much.
I guess for some people, Lucia, it's like that they are so used to the environment, their mental environment, that now it's
Oh,
almost it has to match, right, with the
yeah, yeah,
living
yeah.
place like that.
My mother will never move away from the city. My parents love the city, and they don't know. They don't know better, I say. So
Yeah, it's a conditioning. It's very
it's
interesting
a
to see.
conditioning, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we are all very much conditioned. The mind and the body, they are very conditioned.
Yeah.
And then I love that you in a way unconditioned your body
Hmm.
mind in that sense, because it's my case too, in the case of a lot of people that I meet here, beautiful people, that we are
Yeah.
doing this work of, it's almost like not even unconditioning, but kind of going beyond conditioning. I would
Yeah.
say that, right?
Yeah.
Or perhaps even return to the unconditioned, which is already here present anyway, that beautiful energy of love.
Yeah. Thank you for
So
saying
now I guess I could talk to you forever about these things, the mind and all that. But let's talk about your work, the modalities that you work with, that you're very devoted to, which I find to
that.
be
Mhm.
lovely. And then also, of course, I wanted to bring into the conversation the blissful birth portal too. That would be
Yeah.
fantastic to hear a bit more about it.
Yeah. Okay, so the work that I do, I mean, I have many modalities. I started with Reiki and craniosacral, like I said at the beginning,
Yeah.
and then my life took another turn when I found about the emotion code, body code, and belief code. It's basically one healing. When you do the belief code, you still do the body code and emotion code. It's just like
Right.
basically it's like level 1, level 2, level 3. Let's say that
Right.
they
Yeah.
just call in different ways.
Yeah.
um, and it's very much about releasing trapped emotions, releasing traumas, releasing imbalances in the body, releasing limiting beliefs, and really working with the body and energetically too. You can do also distance. It's still energy work. You can work from distance too,
Right.
and this work is done through muscle testing or applied kinesiology, people call it. And it's very, very powerful. It's a really quantum physics. It's very like, it's just, I really remember so many stories about every single client I have, and most of the people really overcome fears, overcome the issues, because really it goes really deep into releasing the root cause of any
Right.
issues that you might have. That can be physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever. And
Right.
also, after this, I started studying hypnosis, and hypnosis was another amazing awakening for me, because I studied for myself, and then I discovered that, oh my God, this can be so good for so many people. And I studied
Yeah.
mostly when I was pregnant on my daughter. That's why now I help women to give birth naturally with in a blissful way, so with pain free, or if there is pain, but still in a very beautiful and powerful way, to reconnect really with pleasure rather than pain, you know.
Right. Wow. And this is for everyone, Lucia. The Bliss for Birth portal what are the requirements? I guess that's what I'm trying to get
Okay,
to.
the requirement, I mean, for the Bliss for Birth portal, of course, it requires to be pregnant.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
it can be also a good training for someone that wants to get pregnant, because it's still like
Right.
really to pretty much connecting with their inner pleasure. In fact,
Mm,
I also have a program for just women that wants to reconnect with their pleasure, which is called the Radiant Feminine Code. Because
yeah.
in both of these programs, the one for women and the one for birthing, they mostly have the same kind of like approach, which it's a 3 months program where you have weekly call 101 with me, which is very powerful already, that because you really started to have a really deep relationship with these people. And in this weekly call, we do the emotion code, body code, and belief code. So we release every emotional baggage, any limiting beliefs, any imbalance that you might feel in the body. And also, in particular, the body code really helps you with morning sickness, which really helped me when I was pregnant of my daughter, my second child. And so I really believe in the ceilings also, because I try a lot on myself. And plus, in these programs, we have hypnosis, really to reconnect with your body, with your inner pleasure, to it really help the hormones that you need to feel happiness, like oxytocin, like all
Yeah.
these beautiful hormones that we have in our bodies to make us feel happy. So there are a series of hypnosis and recordings, so you can literally go into sleep with subliminal about pleasure, about happiness, about feeling your body, about really reconnecting in case it was pregnancy with your baby, with yourself. And I found on myself that was very powerful. And then when I started doing on myself and I saw the results, I was like, oh my God, every woman need to do that. And and in fact, I have two completely different birth stories. I have both that were natural birth. I decided to do both time home birth, but the first one with my son was completely extremely traumatized. I was in so much pain, and my body was just like refusing to collaborate. And I was like telling my husband all the time, just take me to the hospital. Let's take all the medication they have at the hospital. I can't do this. I was ready to give up. And he kept saying, I know that you can do it. My doula tried all kinds of stuff. I was just like squeezing my shoulders, squeezing my forehead. I was like, this is going to kill me. I thought I was going to die.
Right.
And so then eventually my son came after 24 hours of labor, of massive pain. And he came super healthy, no problems at all. But I told my husband, I'm never going to do this again. Well, 4 years after, I was pregnant again, and we chose to have another baby. And I say this time, I still want to have a natural birth, because I still believe in the power of natural birth, but I really want to do something different. So I started to do the emotion code, body code, and belief code every single week on myself, to release any trauma I had in my body, any energy that was blocking me to let go of my body. And then I did a lot of hypnosis. Hypnosis was really reconnecting that with the fact that my body was perfect, that my body was designed to give birth, that my body was designed to feel pleasure and to really reconnect with oxytocin, all the hormones that I needed in that moment to help me to give birth. And I studied so much. I talked with people that had no pain-free birth. I researched a lot of books, a lot of things. I was like, I really don't want to get to birth and prepare this time. When my daughter was born in 2 hours, I almost had a free birth because my midwife just arrived in time to catch up, to catch my baby.
Right.
2 hours birth where we were dancing, laughing, having fun. My doula couldn't believe it. She was like shocked to see me like so ready. And I kept telling her, look, she's going to come fast. And she was trying to tell me, no, you still have time. I was like, no, she's going to come now. I feel it. And she's going to come any moment. So she arrived after only 2 hours of labor, and she was perfectly healthy. She was just looking around for like 10 seconds, and then she started crying, and we just cuddled in bed. We were happy. We were all healthy.
Yeah.
And so after that, I was like, oh my God, every woman needs to do that. Every woman needs to get to birth prepare and trusting their body, their inner wisdom, and not going through pain and suffering, because pain and stress just create more stress to the body. And so that's what happened to me for the first birth. I was just not trusting my body. I was blocking it. I was creating more pain and more stress instead of like embracing every contraction. That's the difference that I had with the second birth, that every contraction I was embracing that contraction like it was a wave that will bring me closer to my baby. Instead of like pushing it away, I was saying like, yes, give me more contraction, give me more opening of the hips, give me more of this sensation, because I want to see my baby. And well, that was my experience, and that's why I chose to embrace this path of helping women with birth and creating a blissful birth for them.
Wow. What a beautiful description from your own experience. I mean, it's a story really now, because the direct experience you had. Wow. I mean, I love everything about it. And I have to say that I absolutely love the wisdom behind it. So you probably have heard this before, that there are two places to come from when it comes to the human expression, whatever we do here, think and do. It's love, fear. So all that you spoke about your first birth with your son, that really kind of, it comes to me now as your relationship with fear. So a lot of times what we do is we just kind of try to escape it and try to numb it and run from it, and then only makes it worse. It doesn't get better. So you did quite the opposite with your daughter, right? And that was all about the invitation, openness and love, which love is what it is. It's really, it's just so, it's a beautiful space to be in. It's so healing. Does it make sense to you, the way I interpreted this experience, Lucia? Because I don't have the experience myself, so I'm just listening to you.
Yeah.
Is that am I pretty close to what?
Yes, it's definitely like the opening and the accepting of everything that's gonna happen, like in life, how you say it, like you accepting whatever comes and with an open heart, and you will see that like the universe will work in a way that you will feel pleasure, you will feel that life is very smooth. But the same with birth, I felt with my first birth, I had a lot of people that told me, in particular my family, that were telling me that I was crazy in doing a home birth, because You don't know anything about birthing. You don't know anything. You're not a doctor, blah, blah, blah. And so all these fears entering my body, and plus again feeling all the traumas from all the women that give birth before me, which then afterward I asked my mom, how was your birth? And she's like, it was very traumatic. Then I talked with my grandma, it was very traumatic. So I had like a history of traumas in my family around birth. So that's why with my program, we also go very deep into this lineage trauma that you have around birth, so that you don't repeat the same thing your grandma went through, your mother went through, and so it's a very powerful work. And just like talking about, I realized it's like such a powerful thing that I'm offering to people to explore. And it's true, it's like also teaches you so much about life. It's true, when we create tension, when we create stress, life is not gonna be easy, and it's gonna be more stressful, more tensions. Instead, when you embrace everything with calm and trust, because it's about trust. Everything comes to you in a very beautiful way, that unexpected sometimes.
Right. Yeah, I'm listening to that, right? The application of the perfume, right, of that experience, just kind of let's say saturating other experiences in life, everything. So yes, and yes, I love that. So in a way, it's what you do with all these modalities. It's if I can put in my own words, it's kind of clearing the layers of fear, right, Lucia, from the past.
I had goosebumps now how you interpreted that. It was beautiful.
So because that's the main block really to the revelation of what life is all about. Even life and death is one and the same anyway. But what this whole experience here, it's all about. So it is all about love. So it's always the return to it. I mean, I can't, and it's very simple, isn't it, Lucia, in a way?
It's it looks simple, just talking about
but it's not, right?
Right. Like, it's funny because now I'm saying this, and I just realized that yesterday I had actually a kind of meltdown about my business, and there was something that was not working, and I was like, why doesn't work this? I don't know how to do this. And then I realized at night when I was going to sleep, I was like, why do I get so agitated about this stuff? And I know really well that if I do this, doesn't work. It's not gonna work. So I did like a little ritual to calm my mind a little bit, and because we all have it. We all have moments of like unworthiness or like stress, anxiety, and so then we always have to repeat to ourselves our mantras and our way to calm us down and to make us believe in what we really are, that we are powerful and we are loved.
Yes, it's remembering, isn't it? Yeah, always go back to remembering that. Yes, it's so true. Because sometimes people think that, some people believe that when we kind of have experienced it enough of, let's say, healing or health or mystical experiences, spiritual experiences and all that, then we just become perfect and nothing happens anymore, nothing negative. Not really, right?
Not really. We are still humans.
And life is still life. It's very dynamic. It's not going to all of the sudden become something else, right? It's it keeps doing what it does. I would love to hear a bit about muscle testing. I know you offer a free muscle testing guide on your website, lucianicolini.com, which I'll have in here. But
I believe the muscle testing is a practice that everybody should know, because even when my kids get sick or anything, even when they go through emotional things, muscle testing is the way that you find what you need, what your body needs in that moment. So that's what I think it's very powerful about. And muscle testing is also called applied kinesiology, and it's a way to access to your subconscious mind. So basically, muscle testing shows the body's reaction to a thought or a question with the awakening or strengthening of his muscles. And so this technique helps us to get yes or no answers from the body. And we use it to get information about imbalances that are causing emotional, physical problems. So, for example, I don't know, my son gets a fever. I cannot identify with muscle testing what he needs or where the sickness come from. And also with the emotion code and body code, we can release that energy from the body. So it's, of course, they go together. When you study the emotion code, the first thing they teach you is to muscle test, because it's a practice that takes time. From my experience, it took me at least 2 years to get really confident. And I was muscle testing everything, muscle testing supplements and muscle testing food, because you can really see which food is good for you, which supplements you need in that moment. So it's a technique that really empowers you, because then you just listen to your body, what it needs. So this technique works because our subconscious mind stores all the information about our bodies and makes up about 95% of our minds. And it is the part of us that remembers what we, for example, I don't know, what we had for breakfast, or on Monday of April last year. It's like literally it stores all the information, whether we consciously think of it or not. It's kind of like having your backup disk. And it also control bodily functions such as a heartbeat, your blood pressure, the functions of your liver, and more. And it also knows about everything that is getting in the way of a healthy body. So I don't know, for example, your subconscious knows that the argument with your roommate in, I don't know, 1978 is causing your hip pain today. Like, when I do session to my clients that they come with physical pain, and I say, this is come from a trauma that you had when you were 5 years old, or always through muscle testing, we find these things. They always can believe it. But then it's like, actually, my body feels better. And actually, I don't have any more this pain. I'm actually, because we have all this emotion trapped in our body. And so through muscle testing, you can identify this energy, and and with the emotion code, you can actually release it from the body forever. So that's why I feel that everybody should do muscle testing, should learn muscle testing. And on my website, there is a very clear guide to start muscle testing at home. That's what I did when I was studying muscle testing. That's why I was like, everybody should know how to do it. And instead of paying money to these classes that they tell you how to do, and then you spend your money and then you still don't know how to do it. This guide is really like simple. You just follow and you be consistent on practicing. Like for every day you choose particular things that you want to muscle test, and then you get better and better, like everything when you practice, you know?
Yeah, that's it. That's really, really helpful. Thank you, Lucia, for that. Yeah, for speaking about it and then having the guide too. I love it. Simple. I know I didn't get it yet, but I'll do that. Usually I do. I use my body as a pendulum, and I have pendulums. Like I have.
Pendulum is a way to do muscle testing.
It is another way. Oh, good.
Yeah. It's totally another way to do, because sometimes people, they don't trust that their muscle testing that they do on their body and give us the right answer. That's how I started. I started with pendulum, and I was getting yes or no answers, because it's still energy. It still moves through energy, that pendulum. And then it happens one day that I went to a client and I didn't have my pendulum. I forgot it. And now I was like, that can happen, because I have to have another way to do muscle testing that is not just connected to the pendulum. And so I started to do in my body. And it was quite powerful because now I have few way that I do muscle testing. I still use the pendulum. But yeah, mostly I do on my body, and I do this technique that is called ring in ring, which are the thumbs and index together in both hands, and then you put them together across to each other so they two rings stuck to each other. And then when you have a yes answer, the rings stay connected, and when is no, the rings loses. So that's the one that I use the most. But again, muscle testing with pendulum is totally good. You can totally do that too.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for the confirmation, because I do have them. I have an acrylic one, and I have, what do you call that again? Crystal. Yeah. One is a crystal.
Yeah. Of course, the pendulum, you have to train a little bit to ask, give me a yes answer and a no answer.
Right.
And then you have to get used to like having this communication. But it's beautiful. Even the pendulum, I really love it.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much again for your beautiful work, for saying yes to this conversation and being part of the Fit for Joy community of healing and spiritual messages and services and everything in between. That's what that's what I'm interested in. What can I say? That's what I love. That's what I'm interested in. So I want to mention this we're almost at the end of our conversation for today. I want to mention your services. You offer a free discovery call for anyone interested. The sessions, I see lots of beautiful work, as I mentioned before. The Emotion, Body, and Belief Code session, you offer the best deal, 3 sessions of Emotion, Body, Belief Code, and then the Pleasure Awakening Hypnosis, the Radiant Feminine Code, and the Blissful Birth Portal that we talked earlier. And also, of course, the muscle test, free muscle testing guide. So everything can be found on your website, LuciaNicolini.com. And you have another one, heal.me/Lucia. Is that correct?
Yes, that's the platform where people can book the session. It's another platform. I'm in transition of like remodel my website and to make it a little bit more clear to people to find what they want. Mostly I wanted to update it to create the program, the Blissful Birth Portal, that is still not on the website, but it will soon. So it's a work in progress. But when you have to clean your website, it's always like very mindful. So I'm in process of that. But the link is gonna be always the same. That is, the domain is always the same. Actually, I have another domain that is chooseholistic.com.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the same website. It's always in the same one.
Oh, wonderful. So should I have all 3 of them? ChooseHolistic.com, LuciaNicolini.com, and heal.me/Lucia. Should I have all of them here?
Yeah, for now, yes. Then eventually heal.me is going to close, and I will use only Lucia Nicolini or Choose Holistic.
Oh. So I will have one website then, because it's easy too. When we have one website on the podcast notes, you just click one website. Then it's
for sure it's gonna be one. Maybe just my name, which is probably the easiest way to find me.
Right.
But it's gonna be always that way.
Wonderful. So I'll have that website, LuciaNicolini.com. It will be clickable on the podcast notes. And I want to thank you again for our beautiful conversation and for the beautiful sacred work that you're doing in this reality. Thank you so much, Lucia, again.
Thank you for having me here. Very special and very beautiful work that you do with people and opening the mind to more people, to new things, and very powerful. Thank you.
Oh, that's what I love. I remember when we started the conversation today, you said exactly that too. Oh, I love doing this work. You see, we need love, right? To create more love. We got to create from love. Everything has to come from that place. Thank you so much again, my dear. And we'll talk soon, Lucia. Take care of your beautiful self for now, and we'll meet again. Bye for now.
Thank you, Valeria. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Lucia Nicolini and her work, please visit lucianicolini.com and heal.me/Lucia.
To learn more about this podcast, please visit fitforjoy.org/podcast.
Thank you again for listening, and bye for now.